Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Midlife Crisis with your hosts,
Ashley
and Traci. Pull up your seat at the table today as we talk about self-confidence.
Paige is going to join us for a little bit today, so she'll be chiming in.
I sure am.
So I think one of the things that's difficult to deal with in midlife is maintaining, if you've ever had it, self-confidence.
Right.
If
you've ever had it.
If you've ever had it, because some people go through their whole life without having it, right?
Yeah.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. I think it's important. For
It's hard. Being young is hard, period. But it's hard when you don't have that confidence and view yourself as something incredible, and which Paige has totally grown up with because she was fortunate enough to have that.
Always sang.
Yeah, her mom instilled it in her very young.
We were like the best thing to
Sing
ever
your praises
exist.
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And not all of us have that.
Right.
It's made me realize I probably didn't do it enough with my kids.
Right.
But
I think sometimes even if you do it, there's still issues with self-confidence. I'd like to think that I did that.
I was saying to Paige, I'm like, well, luckily I believed it all. Like, luckily I took it all. Like, I was not doubting her for a second. Like, I would when I was little. I'd be like, I'm not. And as over every day, every year, like it. But you need to love yourself, and that's where you start to.
Yeah, and like we talked about before, in actually our last episode, is even if you know that with the social media today and just all the hate that's out there, I think it's hard to hold on to it, right?
Yeah, right.
Especially young adults.
Comparing yourself to everything you're seeing. And
well, I try to say, like, you should, because you can, like, trick your brain, And so I started doing, like, so long ago. When people look at you when you're out, you just automatically are, like, uncomfortable and you think they're, like, thinking bad. And now I just automatically think they're like, wow, she's whatever I need to put in my mind.
She's so cool.
She's so fabulous.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like her shirt. I like her shoes. I like whatever it is. And I'm like, I tell Julia that. I'm like, dude, just tell yourself. Because when you're looking at somebody, you're usually like, wow, they're dope. Or like, just.
Well, they say women dress
so
to impress other women, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's huge for women. I think guys probably do it a lot less.
Yeah. Right.
But they get pretty self-conscious.
They do, they do. But I think for women it's huge. And, as we've talked about, like, going into midlife and the changes that our body goes through and our self-image and things like that, it can really,
you feel
make
invisible.
it a lot harder.
Yeah, you become
we talked about being invisible.
That could be like, that's interesting because I could see how you could possibly, because what if a lot of your love and self-love and all that was coming from your youth?
Yeah.
And then you're like,
and...
oh no, but like that's why we have to remind ourselves, we have to love ourselves for like who we are.
On the inside.
Right. That's one thing you had mentioned the other day, Paige. You're beautiful, but that could change very quickly. Any minute you could get in a car accident.
And that was
so
what
that's
my mom
all
would
you're
say.
holding on to.
Praise our looks, but she'd be like, that can be taken away from you in a second. So, there's a difference between confidence and being cocky and conceited.
Yes.
Right.
And truly loving
who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's hard to do with all of your faults, right? Because nobody knows yourself better than you.
Yep.
Whether you have, you overeat or you just, I think most women have a bad self-body image. There's just that few percentage that don't.
We're our worst critic.
And but then even if you had it when you were younger, when you go into midlife, my gosh, vanity, I really feel a lot of self-vanity, when I look in the mirror, or try not to look in the mirrre anymore.
You're so vain.
Yes.
You know what it is for me is, I've really, I think, kind of embraced aging. Like, I complain about, the facial hair and whatever.
Right.
But I'm not, like, in a place where I'm like, oh, I've got to get Botox, or I've got to, kudos to the people that do it. That's to
plastic
each their
surgery.
Own. Yeah, to each their own. I've embraced it, and I'm just hoping that I will age gracefully, and so
that's
far,
what I want. Yeah.
So far, I'm fine with it. But I think that a lot of people do really struggle with that. And for me, it's been like when I see pictures of myself even a few years ago.
Yes.
And
I was
I'm
looking
like,
at some of us from a few years ago, and
you're like, oh my gosh,
and
I
I'm
look
looking
so
at
young.
you, and I sit here and look at you, and you're so beautiful, and you still look so young. But then when I look at pictures of us,
a couple of years ago,
yeah,
it's like,
I was
wow,
like,
I look like a
wow,
baby.
Ashley has aged,
is
but
kinda
very
weird.
well.
Thank
but
you.
yeah, you did look like a baby. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
So now you're just looking like a grown up. Finally.
It's weird
Yeah.
because when you look at older pictures of her, like something about like I love how you look now. Like I feel like you look perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, she does. But not everybody has those looks.
I know.
And,
Right?
Hey!
and sorry, the dogs are getting a little crazy
Yeah,
right
sorry
now.
about that.
But we see each other very often.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so,
So
we
it's
see
hard
the
to-
progression.
yeah,
So then
yeah.
when you do see a picture, it's
Right.
like, oh, wow.
Yeah. But it is hard when, your skin changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to think about creping and, the wrinkles and, the facial hair. It's like, wow, well, I don't have to shave my legs very often, but
Right.
I have to shave my face
But
twice
now,
a day.
yeah.
It's like, what is happening? So it's just difficult. And society, right?
Oh, yeah.
Society
Yeah.
puts this, pressure on everybody, especially women, I think, because men, right, they get more distinguished with age. But women, everybody wants to be young and
Right.
youthful. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to stop, the time.
There's nothing more beautiful or sexier to me than a natural older woman that has just aged gracefully and you can see the confidence, the way she carries herself. More so than seeing someone who is very beautiful, clearly has had some work done.
Yes.
She looks great.
Right.
That to me is less attractive.
Right.
And that's just my personal preference. Everyone has their preference, but nothing is sexier to me than an older woman
Wow,
that
Ashley's
carries
talking
that.
about sexy older women now.
Right, and we've talked about this before. I'm not ready to own my gray hair, which I know I'm fully gray, and that's okay. But I do find it attractive on other women that just own it and embrace it. And some women have gray hair early on.
Everybody,
Yeah.
use the hashtag I'm gray and that's okay.
There you go. There you go. I'm gray and that's okay. Or no plastic surgery, right?
Right, yeah.
Midlife and owning it. There's so many. But how do you keep your self-esteem if you've had it? And how do you get it back? Or how do you get it if you've went your whole life and really haven't had it? I find myself, and more so maybe just with struggles of life, because, I tell my kids who said life is hard. Life is hard, right? But so with my own struggles, maybe not with the self-confidence issue of a day, but I find myself continually telling myself, you are Traci Ingalls and you are a badass. You know what I mean? And it's like, and sometimes I have to say it to myself several times a day just to make it through the day. Yeah. But it's not so much with confidence, but I think once I, feel that and I lift myself up with that, it's easier for me to be more self-confident, and I find that maybe I'm more self-confident in my older years, as my youngest would say. I'm a senior now. I'm like, what defines senior?
You get a senior
Like,
discount?
what? No, not. I said I thought seniors were 65, and
they are.
she just looks at me with
Not
this
even
deer in the headlights look. But I try to just embrace where I am now. And by not wearing makeup, again, I don't, I'm not naturally gray, or I am naturally gray, but I bleach it. But I don't wear makeup anymore.
Yeah.
High heels are pretty much, growing dust and gathering dust in
mine
my
are,
closet. As we sit here in our slippers and our casual shoes. But, so I don't even dress up anymore. But I still, on a good day, feel good about myself.
Right.
Yeah. So
there is something to be said for every once in a while doing that. Paige and I we did a little staycation last weekend, and we went out, both nights that we were downtown, and then last night we took a friend out for her birthday, and I wore makeup 3 times in the last week, which is more than I've done in the last 4 years,
Right,
you know?
right.
And it felt good.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to wearing it every day,
right.
but it did kind of give me this little boost, like
Yeah.
getting ready and dressing up a little more and putting makeup on. It felt great,
Yeah. And you work from home for so long, so like
I mean, even when I do my Zoom meetings now, I pull my hair up and put some glasses on, and I don't do makeup.
Well, that's the thing.
You know?
Yeah, with Zoom, I learned early on in our early pandemic days that throwing a pair of glasses on, nobody can tell if you have makeup on. Yeah. So I've just fallen into that. But
well, I think a good way to like try to, if you lost your self-esteem, I don't know, something about finding like hobbies that you like and like trying new things and like trying to learn something new. I feel like with that, like you like, at least I like start to love myself. Like if I'm
You're
like
instilling confidence,
like I want to learn how to knit, and then like sitting in here and like knowing like that's what I'm doing for the hour, like it feels just like good, and you feel like that's like that's just me doing the thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I love myself.
Yeah.
I love myself.
Well, and I like your strategy of, if you're finding people like looking at you or feeling like maybe they are.
Yeah, wow, they're like amazed by
like,
me right now.
They're looking at my ass. I know it looks good.
right. But chances are they probably are. Right?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but you walk into
they could
a
be
place
like,
and,
why is she here? She's way too old to be in this bar.
And that's like another thing of like when I do catch people staring, and like at this point I'm not like, I don't even have to tell myself, I'm just like, oh yeah, they're I lost it.
But a full body check, that's something different. You know,
well, yeah.
Up and down.
Yeah, that's, you
like
really have to
just
put
give
it
a
on
smile.
overdrive.
Like how Julia said, like people seem to be intimidated by her because like that's also a time when somebody's looking at me and I catch them, like I try to smile. And then they usually always smile back, and it's like...
It could be something as simple as that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or else you're just internally like, why were they looking at me? And then they were giving me a dirty look.
Or if they are looking at you and there's clearly some envy or,
right. Take
something
it
like
with
that.
Pride. That's...
Still smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still smile.
Yeah.
Because guess what? That to them is even more like, because they want you to, they want to go, you know what, she's pretty and she's a bitch.
They want to intimidate you, and make you feel bad about yourself.
But if you smile and
she's
say
pretty
hi.
and she's sweet.
Yeah. Or smart,
Yeah. Well,
and smart.
Depends on the person. I'm not very on the smart end of things.
Oh, please.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we just said you're the one that has the most
confidence.
confidence.
I know. It doesn't mean I'm smart.
You're very smart. You're very smart.
Like, she's really pretty. She's really dumb, but she's really pretty.
But yeah, I think it's easier said than done, right? Is to have that self-confidence, especially, if you've gone through a breakup or, a divorce. It's easy to get into a rut and...
lost your job,
Yeah.
anything like that. It can be really
it can
dooming.
be.
And
So I like your suggestion of, finding a hobby
I
or
think the hobby thing's
asserting
big.
yourself into something new, whatever it is. Yeah.
Something
And
that
like,
you feel good,
especially
you're good
as
at,
you get older, like, because there's always things people want to try, and they're just like, and with YouTube, it's literally like you can just learn anything you want. If you ever want to learn a very random thing, auctioneering, yodeling, anything, building a car,
anything,
I don't know,
it's all
making
there.
a candle. It's
That's
literally
true.
all there.
That is true. YouTube has changed the world, and do it
You
yourself.
could watch Bob Ross and learn how to
Dude,
paint.
you could do whatever.
That's
literally.
true. That's true. Painting, and I think that too could be therapeutic. You can find some things that, like you said, knitting and painting, and
that are therapeutic.
Yeah, they're therapeutic too. So
I was gonna try and take up cross stitch.
Oh gosh.
These little, and my vision's gotten so bad.
Not only that, the instructions were so
They're
confusing.
so vague. Very vague.
That's funny.
So I guess I just need to maybe try and find like a real beginner's kit that's like literally detailed instructions. I don't know, but I have my glasses. I bought this giant magnifying glass that hangs around my neck.
Oh,
and
that's
it has
funny.
A light. So I do want to attempt it because I just love. I
you
have
don't
a few
hear
pieces
of that
in
a
the
lot
house.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few pieces in the house that I've found at vintage shops and things like that, and I just think it's fun, and I think it'd be cool to give us gifts at Christmas and things like that.
True.
You don't see it that much, and vintage is in right now, so I think it'd be fun to do some stuff like that. But
I do
anyway. Anyway, so yeah, just I think any hobbies that even ones that you already know that you haven't done for a while,
Yeah.
Finding things that you're good at.
Right. Or people to enjoy doing new things with, too, I think is good. Or even reflecting on past achievements. Maybe something that you've done, when you were younger. Maybe you were an athlete. Funny enough, I was actually an athlete when I was in grade school.
Really?
And I started smoking after that, and it all went downhill. But I was like the fastest runner, and then I would get a ribbon for winning the most blue ribbons, the most first place ribbons, and I know. Look at me, triple jump was my main thing. Yeah, and I used to feel like I could fly through the air, and I was always the anchor too on the relay races and stuff. And I don't reflect often on that, but it is something of an achievement, from my past that I can reflect back on, or maybe it's just being a mom.
Wow, I was really out there doing it.
Yeah,
and we talked about when we did our manifestation episode. The things that the goals that you had.
Yes.
One of them was to buy a house.
Yes.
And you did. I mean, those are achievements. Those are things that,
And that gratitude that I need to be grateful for every single day. So good friends and not just the material things, right? Because that's not really what life's about. But I think
staying positive, even when you're going through some troubling, like I said, losing a job, things like that. Trying to stay positive also, I think, naturally makes you feel more confident.
Yeah. It's just so hard to boost self-confidence and self-esteem, and then
such an interesting, weird thing to navigate. And, we could talk about it for days because it's, there's so much that, it involves so many different aspects
to build
your self-confidence.
Yeah.
Or to love yourself, or
to make it go down.
Yeah, right.
I mean, anything.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, positive self-talk.
Yeah.
And, you can only do so much and so long, and pretty soon you don't even believe yourself anymore. Or you get tired of saying it. It's like, my name's Traci Ingalls and I'm a badass. Not really, but, but some days, like I said, I just need it, and I need to say it out loud, and sometimes a couple times a day, and maybe it's just to get through work, or, whatever life, throws at me that day, perhaps not just self-confidence, but I do feel that I've, dropped quite a bit off on the self-confidence as, the years continue to roll by, and then maybe do I not even care, right? I don't want to come to that point where I don't care about myself anymore, right?
Well, I think
I still shave my legs. And
as if it makes you happy. If one day you were like, you know what, shaving my legs doesn't make me happy, then I say hell.
Well, mostly in the summer I shave my legs, to be honest, but it doesn't grow as fast. Like I said, my hair on my legs doesn't barely grow anymore. But it grows out of my face now that I've never had.
Moved.
So it just moves.
No, I think for you, I see a little bit of what you're talking about, but I know you, and I know what you're going through.
Right.
And you've been through a lot in the last few years.
Right.
But one thing that
it ages you.
Always,
life wears on you.
But one thing I've always loved about you is that you are a very positive person. You really are, and
you're never negative.
Right. You don't speak poorly of people.
Right.
You don't judge people.
Right.
You're very positive about, even when you're going through some shit.
Right.
You still hold
have to cling on to, my
and that's
cup is half full.
Yeah. Because
it's hard.
And I think it portrays confidence
Yeah.
to other people.
That's
Even
true.
if you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
It portrays confidence. And I do. I mean, that's one thing that I love about people in my life that are positive, and I'm envious of that, because I tend to kind of get a little negative,
Yeah.
and so I envy people that has Traci ever been negative? I try
I
to think.
know.
Like, I can't think of one time that she's
And
ever
I have,
been
mostly
negative.
in my own mind, though, right?
Right.
Which is a terrible place to be. You know, we all do that. We'll beat ourselves up internally, or unfortunately, maybe lash out at some, you know, somebody undeservingly. You know,
Right.
just happened to be at the wrong
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
at the wrong time and says the wrong thing, and I'm like, you know, snap at
Right.
them or something, and then feel bad for a week
Yeah.
or two.
But
But
fortunately, we have, you know, each other to like
Yeah.
share, you know, Paige and I share a lot of our frustrations with each other. We have our, you know, all our friends that we get
Yeah.
to talk to, and some we want to share certain things with, and some we don't.
and build yourselves up to each other. Help
Absolutely.
yourselves, build each other
Absolutely.
up, I think is where I'm going. So hopefully, you know, if you have a significant other,
Hopefully
if they don't,
if they don't,
if they don't,
help your
you-
self confidence.
yeah, we'll talk to them
But-
about it,
but you
right?
know
I
what?
think open communication
I also
might
think,
help.
you know, even if you have a partner, it is also good to have a friend that you can talk to, because
Yeah.
sometimes there are things
I would say
with
more
your
so a
partner-
friend, because it is very draining. I've seen people in relationships where they are constantly needing to build up their partner every time they go
Yeah.
out, every time they get dressed, every time.
But also,
and
like,
that's
if-
like draining,
Exhausting,
You need
yeah.
to figure that out on your own, and,
Yeah.
and get at least a basis to like who you are and like, you know, you need to like yourself at least.
not needing that constant
Yeah,
approval.
you cannot
That
be looking
validation,
for other
yeah.
people to do validation.
Right.
because
Maybe
they
that's not
won't.
self-confidence, right?
Right.
That's
That's
Yeah.
a false
Valid-
sense
yeah.
of
Exactly.
self-confidence.
But
exactly.
what I was saying was, even if you have a partner, sometimes you have issues with your partner, maybe, or there's things that you're not ready to talk to them about, and you want to kind of bounce it off a friend, or, you know what I mean? It is important to have a
Yes.
friend, someone. It could be your parent, you
Yeah.
know, it could be anybody, but someone to talk to about things and kind of help you feel validated
Yeah.
in what you're feeling and experiencing, and help your confidence so that you can then address it with your
Right.
partner, or,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it is very important to have a friend.
Yeah.
It is. And I've always told my kids, all you need is one friend.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be
Yeah.
the most popular kid or, you know, person,
good
but just
friend.
one good friend.
That has
you
your
know,
back.
That has your back, you know, that you can talk to, that's there for you.
Yeah.
Maybe meet for coffee or, you know, a cocktail
Go to
or
Mexico.
go to Mexico. Yeah, take a vacation with. Vacation is very important too. I think that
Oh,
everybody
resetting.
needs to
Yeah.
take time, you know, to
is.
reset yourself, especially if you're, you know, parenting. That
Mm-hmm.
can be very challenging. You just need to break away and pamper yourself,
Yeah.
you know, for a minute.
Paige and I rarely have spent time just the two of us, like, away.
Yeah.
Right.
When we travel, it's with friends or
Right.
to see family.
Mexico.
And it was really
I
nice to go, you know, we just went downtown,
Staycation,
got a
yeah.
hotel, and
Yeah.
it was just
No
the two of
dogs.
us. No dogs,
Yeah.
no kids,
Yeah.
no, you know, and it was actually really,
Chill.
yeah, it was really nice. It was kind of a reset, you know, it was just whatever we wanted to do, just the two of
Yeah.
us. And I think even too, like, doing that stuff by yourself is sometimes nice.
Right.
Yes.
To just go and
Right.
be with yourself, you
Like,
know?
Yeah, it kind of links into like the hobby stuff. Like it feels good when you're out doing something just alone, just you.
Or sign up for a class
Yeah.
if you want to meet people, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a cooking class or
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
yeah, hobby, you know, dancing,
Yeah.
you know, anything
Yeah.
like
Pottery,
that.
any-
Pottery, yeah, just to find someone, and then don't get discouraged if you don't meet a friend, you know, or make friends right
Well, and
away,
it's-
but just enjoy the experience of learning something new and
Yeah,
being
you don't
around
even have
people.
to have
and,
the expectation
Because
of a
life is so
long-term
short.
friendship. You're
Yeah.
interacting with people.
Right.
You're meeting new people. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to turn into any lifelong friendship, but it's
Right.
just that socializing and
Right.
getting to know someone, and it's nice to have that interaction and get, you know, usually it's, you know, positive and
Yeah.
oh, that's great, you're from there, oh, you know, or you're so funny, or and that
Finding
that feels
people
good.
with stuff in
Talking to
common,
people.
yeah. Because chances are, if they're taking a cooking class or a dancing class or you know an
You have
art
similar
class,
interests.
exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
pottery. I think pottery is very
Pottery
relaxing
would be cool.
and cool, right? Especially if
love
you've
to
ever
try.
seen Ghost, it's
Yeah.
kind of sexy too. It can be, but
My son took a class when he was younger, and it was really cool.
Yeah. So I think those are things that, you know, people can do to help boost their self-esteem and getting out and meeting new people. And again, you know, trying some new things. I love that suggestion. Mine is stay away from mirrors. And especially those magnifying mirrors.
Oh my god.
Those are terrible. Those
I
are
know.
terrible.
I only
hate
use
it.
those when I'm pulling out
I look
long
at my
hairs.
skin and I'm like, ew, my skin.
Yeah, it makes a 20-year-old skin look terrible.
Oh.
But, and also maybe go buy yourself something to wear, like maybe new lingerie. And it doesn't matter. Yeah,
If
but
you
it
have anyone
doesn't
to wear
matter
it for.
if you
Yeah.
are even seeing anybody and you're not even dating anybody.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you put it on, it just makes you feel good,
good.
about,
Yeah.
you know, just makes you feel
And
good.
I think we need to remember how short life is and tell ourselves, life is so, so short. What am I going to do? Literally spend it hating myself?
Right.
Right.
For what?
Right.
I might as well love myself and make the best of it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great advice, Paige. You're so
I'm
wise.
like angry. I'm like, gosh, guys. Me last night, I'm like, Julia, have self-confidence.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, please take
She's
it from me
young.
here. I wish I could hand it to her and
I
say,
know.
here you go.
So what are some of the things that you said to her last night?
I mean, I just literally try to tell her the facts of like, you're gorgeous. You have a great personality. You should never be
And a beautiful smile that she should be
be
sharing,
sharing.
more often.
Yes, you should. We're like those guys. You should smile more. But no, seriously, she should.
Right. And
'Cause
she's,
when you
it's
smile,
sad.
it
She's so
shows
beautiful.
the kind of person you are
Yeah.
in your smile, I think.
Yeah.
Like when somebody smiles, Julia's a sweet smile. She's a sweet person.
Right.
Yeah.
And like that, then people can see. Not that she has to prove it to anyone,
Right.
but she'll. I think once she puts it out and she sees what her return
She's
is,
more
she's gonna be like,
approachable.
"Wow, I am awesome."
And
Yeah.
she's more approachable. Like,
Yeah.
that's one
Yeah.
of her complaints is that she feels like people are looking at her and judging her, and really,
Yeah, they're not.
they're not judging
They're
you.
Yeah,
They
they're
would
in
love
awe
to
of
come
her.
come talk
very
to you,
straightforward
but
with
you're
her.
not approachable.
Like if I could give her more like, try this. It's just not really my personality to be like, hey, why don't you next time try? I'm more like, dude, come on, go like reflect on
That's
yourself
the
really quick.
Italian in you.
Like
Yes.
you're athletic,
It's a
you're
little more
adventurous, you're
aggressive.
spontaneous. You like to travel. You
Yeah.
love animals. You love people. You're funny. Like smart, beautiful.
I know.
What is
And
the-
she is. And the sad thing is, if somebody like her, who has it all,
Right.
the youth and the beauty and the
I
brains
know.
and everything, it doesn't...
Is struggling with self-esteem and at her
Yeah,
age.
and self-confidence. How do the rest of us even have a chance?
I know.
I know. I'm
God.
like saying all these great things about her. I'm like, wait, should I have so much confidence?
You too. You exude confidence, and
Wow,
that's why
cool.
you're here talking today, because you want to help.
I want to help.
You have
Share
enough for
that.
all of us.
Yeah, with everyone else. And
If I could hand it out, I would.
well, I think you are.
I'll try my best.
Well, you've given some really great advice.
Yes, you
Thanks,
have,
guys.
and we
So
appreciate
you.
you.
You really made me think
Yeah.
about midlife. Midlife self-esteem.
It's around
Yeah.
the corner.
That's crazy.
It's
Shut
around the
up.
corner.
I have 20
I'm
years
kidding.
until I'm 50.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you have 10 years till your midlife starts.
Yeah.
It's the early
Dun,
stages.
And
dun.
it goes by that quick.
Well,
The
if
blink of
that's
an
the
eye.
case, I gotta go embrace every second of this day. You're only 30 once, and
Yes, that is true. That is true. But again, thank you so much for being here with us today,
Yeah,
Paige. And,
thanks for
and we'd
having
love to hear from you. How have you overcome self-confidence issues in your own life during your midlife? Or, do you need help overcoming some of your lacks of confidence in your midlife? We want to hear from you. So reach out to us at Let's Talk Midlife Crisis on any of your social channels or our website, because we do want to hear from you.
Yeah, and share any advice you have as well. We'd love to hear what you do to keep your spirits up and feel good about yourself.
I love you guys.
Thank you. And that just about wraps it up for today. Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Midlife Crisis. Embrace the change.
Join the conversation on our website at letstalkmidlifecrisis.com or our Facebook or Instagram and YouTube channels. We'd love to hear from you guys.